welcome to Shaping Shenanigans, the BCBA group chat where data meets drama, behavior meets banter, and every conversation comes with a side of reinforcement.
Hi guys, welcome back to Shaping Shenanigans. I'm Katie,
I'm Janae.
And I'm Aria.
and on today's episode, we're talking about the disconnect. So let's just get real here. Let's start. Raise your hand if a policy that was ever announced and everyone said, "Who asked for this shit?"
Both hands up.
So I think we all know there's a big disconnect when it comes to just like the trickle down of like companies. And so that's kind of what our episode is going to be about today.
Yes. So, what we mean by disconnect? When we say disconnect, what are we actually talking about?
I would say for me, it's when like you get these big box companies that like I mean, and they might be thinking that they're making a great decision for the company, but at the end of the day, like I feel like there is a disconnect in how they're making the decisions, but then from the people who are working from the bottom,
Right.
like they're not able to help make these decisions, and so companies are making these decisions without, like asking first, asking the people that are actually on the floor every day working with the patients.
Yeah. Or even just considering and knowing what the people on the floor do
Yeah,
from day to day.
absolutely.
And I think also the disconnect can be a lot of that communication or just not.
Yeah.
Even if you're not familiar with the field, a lot of times that is an issue. You're not familiar with the field.
Let me tell you, why they just hired these random people?
Oh,
Yeah.
Great.
It's like you have dang, I don't even know what the right term of it is, but you have, I don't know, some random Joe who has worked in, I don't know, finance, and they're like, oh, you know what? I want to be over a ABA company. You don't know shit about the company. You don't know shit about ABA. Just stop. But what about like how it feels? And we kind of like touched on it a little bit, but like how it feels like actually being in the field of like working at the working level, like how it feels to the people that have to deal with the policies.
I think for me personally, it's hard to balance wanting to do what's right for your kid, but then also having to make company policies,
Yeah.
so that you can keep your job. And like I feel like for me, like it makes me lose like myself as a clinician because I'm like, oh, I have to make sure I do this. I have to make sure I do this. I have to make sure this happens. And so that can be really hard to like balance that and like know, like no, I'm still my own person. I went to school for this. Like I know what I'm talking about, and I feel like whenever we get these extra policies, it really, really like makes it hard and like makes the imposter syndrome like come in a lot more and creep in more for me.
I agree. You have anything to add, Janae?
yeah, I think very much so the disconnect between the policies, getting the numbers, because of course getting the numbers pays you.
Right.
But okay, let's be realistic about it. So for instance, I think that's kind of where I'm at currently. Um, it's like you push this, we can go to school, and if y'all are in Texas,
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get in school. So the hours take into account that, but we can't get in school. So now you're pushing 30 hours for a kid who fully goes to school. How is that happening?
Yeah.
Right? So like even I have a kid who works literally, if you include school and ABA, works more than I do, way more than I do. And he's a freaking kid.
Yeah.
But sometimes companies don't see that.
Yeah.
Versus BCBAs are like, well,
it doesn't like make sense.
No.
Yeah.
Because now you wonder why this kid has behaviors.
They burnt out. Yeah. And honestly, like that's a really great point because thinking about it in the terms of how many hours we work on the day to day, which I have thought about it, but like you just saying it out loud just makes me think about it even more of okay, if a kid goes to school, we'll say 10 hours, but then, like, I had one kid, okay, so goes to school, comes to ABA, and then they also have extracurricular activities. This kid has a 60-hour day and probably like 8, 9 years old. Like, what?
Yep.
Like, this is too much. And like you said, you wonder why behaviors are popping up. I'm tired, and you getting on my nerves. So,
Literally.
That part.
well, what about, like, I guess, so, how policy changes and the disconnect is for us as BCBAs, or what about like our techs? Because I feel like in some regards they might feel the worst of it because they, like, yes, we advocate for our techs, but I feel like the RBTs, they just get told to like show up and do the job type of thing.
Shut up with that stuff. Somebody told LeBron James, shut up and ball. Shut up
Shut
and ABA. Yeah. I definitely hate that, and that's another thing I'm also struggling with because I feel like my company has a mixture of in-home school, center, um, but the kiddos have their set schedules, they have their set texts. So outside of that, the techs kind of see it as, okay, either I'm just gonna come to the center, or
Right.
this is kind of my time to do what I need to do. Yet there's a bit of a disconnect as to, okay, I need you to cover. You're telling me no. You're working.
Right.
And so I think it's a bit of a disconnect where it's like it appears that they need to be available 24/7.
Yeah. It's like, where's the work-life balance? Because these owners are not on the clock, or like, let's say you are on the clock. I'll play devil's advocate. You are on the clock, but you're in the comfort of your home, or maybe you're on the beach and you're on your laptop working. But we're
like
yeah, who you telling? But we have like a different, different protocols and procedures that we have to follow. So, yeah, valid points for sure. What about, do y'all feel like there is a difference between like leadership being busy and then leadership being absent?
Yeah, I mean, and like for me, like I'm always trying to think of like, okay, when it comes down to, let's say policy changes or whatever, like I know they're not just like, oh, like let me find the worst way to like make everybody's day harder. Like I
Yeah.
know that's not the like factor that they're thinking about, but sometimes I feel like they're making these decisions and they don't realize that it affects us a lot more. And they think, oh, like we're just gonna implement this simple change. To them, it's a simple change, but to us, it's a lot.
even
okay.
like working with bigger companies that have clinics all over the country, there's a big disconnect as far. So, like for instance, with the school, you may be able to get into schools in Ohio, but in Texas you can't.
Right.
You may be able to, like we had big snow ice storm in January or whatever. Okay, well, in Wisconsin, where I'm from, cool, we can still be outside doing what we need to do.
Yeah.
Here in Texas, you can't function.
Yeah.
And they don't take that into account when you have those larger companies. So I think that's a lot where that disconnect, because there's no policy for it or whatever.
Or even doing something as simple as, and this might be a little off track, but just doing something, because I'm thinking about the snowstorm. Being proactive. We love to be proactive in the field. We know. We try to be. I like to. Us, the BCBAs, but owners, whatever, depending on the position, your knowledge of things, maybe you are not proactive, but I would hope that there is some proactivity there. But okay, we know, especially like here in Texas, around the winter months, it gets cold and there might be ice.
Precipitation.
Right. So, duh, how about we just build in some days, not a week, not 10 days, whatever, maybe 2 days. We just build in some days to where you get PTO. It won't count against you type of thing. These companies, y'all have the money. It's like, what are you willing to spend the money on?
Mhm.
We'll
Because,
get you pizza.
yeah, fuck that pizza.
Showed up, so we gonna get you some pizza. How
Risking
about
your
you
life.
value my life
Please,
and let me stay home?
please.
Mhm.
Because they love to preach of how we're a family and all those things.
Red flag.
I was just about to say, if the company tells you we're a family, run. Don't walk, run in the opposite direction, please. But yeah, yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. You got a little,
Flashback.
little minor PTSD right there. But
Sure. Yeah. So, at what point does leadership stop listening and start broadcasting? So, what do you feel like, or when do you feel like, okay, leadership no longer wants to hear what we say and just this is what it is?
I feel like their actions, pretty much. If I'm understanding the question correctly, I feel like it's like it comes from like the actions. Like if I like voice my opinion and I'm like, hey, well, I don't know if this is a good policy, or these are might be some of the things that you encounter with this policy being implemented, and they're like, yeah, okay, or they're cutting me off before I can even get it out.
Yeah.
I'm just not gonna say anything else.
Yeah. I agree.
I think for me, I have a lot of anxiety, and so I, with that comes like wanting to like make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. And whenever like requirements or policies change, I have a hard time like adapting to that change because I'm like, okay, now I have to reshape how I do everything. I have to reshape how I'm, like working in my day and whatever. And a lot of times I've been told like you need to do better about how you react to change. And I'm like, okay, but like if and I'm like, and I'm like, it's hard for me because like it takes me a while to process change,
Yeah.
and like sometimes I feel like that's such an unfair like form of feedback to give somebody who like
Right.
who just like struggles with like anxiety and like
Yeah.
struggles with like wanting to like it's not like I'm intentionally like wanting to be upset about the change, but sometimes like I'm human, like
Yeah.
it's okay to be upset and like
It's a
sit
human
in that
response.
upsetness
Right.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Right. Companies
And
want
so
you to be
that's what
robots.
really like irritates me sometimes is like you need to do better about how you deal with change. And I'm like,
Y'all need to start changing stuff. Or at least the stuff that doesn't make sense,
Yesterday was this. Today is this.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Or like even like the policy goes into place and like, hey, we're gonna do this, and like nobody's actually doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Even to, okay, we're gonna send out an email, or we got this policy based off a spreadsheet, or like, okay,
what
like,
spreadsheet?
yeah,
Show it to me.
like, what does the spreadsheet entail? What is
Yeah.
it taking into place? Well, we collected some data. Okay, who you collect the data from?
Because it wasn't me.
Maybe it's never the workers.
Never.
So it's just difficult.
Yeah, I agree. Mm-mm.
So we're gonna kind of dive into like some real life examples of like how disconnect happens and what that kind of looks like with companies. What are some like unrealistic like productivity requirements that you've either like experienced or heard about in the field of ABA?
Oh, go ahead. Go off.
I have an issue with KPIs. I have an issue with KPIs, but KPIs don't take into consideration the things I'm dealing with. So, for instance, parent meetings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I had a parent meeting yesterday or whatever. Literally the day before, I reminded this parent, hey, this time, we're doing this. Send them the link again, everything. Talk to the tech. I'd be like, hey, can you remind them? Yeah, they're so excited for the parent meeting at 11. The parent meeting's at 12.
What?
She said, I'll remind them when they left, so when I leave the house. She reminded them. 12 o'clock comes. I'm just sitting there. Like, So it doesn't. I even have families that are like, no, my KPIs don't take into account that, hey, I'm trying to meet this parent where they are. This parent don't want to be met where they are.
Right.
And see, that's the part about companies that makes me so mad. Is like they want you to bill for these KPIs. They want you to get this family guidance, and they're like, I'm trying, I'm doing this, that's the third, but you're not doing anything for them. You're not giving this family consequences.
Right.
You're not following your company
Right.
policy, but you just want to
Right.
punish me for it.
Do not make me throw my papers, because exactly.
My favorite thing I love when they say when you're not meeting the KPIs is, well, the more you hit your KPIs, the more buy-in the family's gonna get, or they're gonna have. I gotta get in the dough before I can get them to buy in.
Exactly.
Like,
and if we already starting under the ground, that's half the
6
battle.
feet under.
Yeah, exactly. Or even so I get them confused sometimes, but like some companies say KPIs like AMN percentage for like kids.
Attendance.
I do not like it. Like, okay, yes, I get it. Yes, we do want clients to come in, receive the services. These are services that we're billing for. It's, documenting how much progress is being made, but also being realistic about kids you see. Kids that go to school, they have breaks. You guys think that, I know I had one, I'm not going to even go too much into detail, but I had one individual tell me, oh, wow, the requirement, I think it was like 80 or something like that. Oh, this client is at 78. They really should join a Saturday session. If you want to waste your breath and your energy to hound these parents that I have built so much great rapport with
for 2%,
for 2 stinky old percent, and it might be like, okay, so you're gonna send a kid home if they're sick, that you don't count that into the percentage of why it's low. So it's just like, I don't know, be realistic with certain things.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that also comes from the top of the company, like wanting you to meet these KPIs because then it gets them money.
Yep.
Don't send kids home because we can bill and we can get more money. And so that's what happens, I think, a lot. Like, I don't think companies start out like caring about the money as much as they want to do it for the kids.
Yeah.
But then once they start getting bigger and bigger and they start seeing those dollar signs,
like, oh yeah,
then
it's
in like,
here.
oh, you can do this, you can do that, and you need to build this and you need to build that, and it's not anything about the kid. Yeah. Whenever a kid is like, exiting services, the next day I should not be like, oh, we need to get a kid in here to fill that spot. I'm like, this is not a spot for, like, this is a child, like, this is a person.
Right. Or like, when I finish an assessment on a Friday and the kid starts on the following Monday.
Well, you know what they need.
Like, what? Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so now, which that actually kind of touches on this next topic of like clinical decisions that are overridden by business goals.
If I recommend that the child really only needs to be here 30 hours and you tell me your policy says they have to be here 40 or nothing, ding, ding, ding. Because what am I here for? If you can do my job, come on, go ahead. Come on, do it. I'm tired anyway. Please come do it.
That's the major one. Or naps for younger kids. Well, they don't need a nap. By this age, we fade out naps. This kid need a nap. Right. If they don't get a nap, they tearing up this whole room.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, well, they can have 30 minutes. What is 30 minutes going to do?
I'm grumpy after 30 minutes. I know this little 4-year-old is going to be mad.
Grumpy, yeah. Right, yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the major one.
Yeah.
It grinds my...
And it doesn't make any sense, because it's like, it's a kid, because I'll tell parents, like, I'll be like, naturally kids are going to outgrow their nap.
Yeah.
And whenever that happens, like, you should just naturally, like, they're going to just outgrow their nap. You know? And
get ready.
Like, it shouldn't be on
and
a
then
schedule.
a couple of companies like, hi, I'm naturally.
Yeah.
Literally. Oh.
Not in the form you thought, but here it is. It's crazy.
I'm naturally. You're done.
You're done.
But yeah, and then it kind of sucks too, because it goes into like, I feel like it just gets into this loop of like, we get burnt out.
Mhm.
It trickles down, goes to the RBTs.
Oh yeah.
The RBTs are quitting. Nobody's listening to them.
Mhm.
Um, and it just goes into like, you know, like it sucks for our field because our kids need that consistency, but at the same time, like it's a hard field to be in, and
Yeah, and
whenever
it's
you
not for
have all of
everybody.
these like extra business policies, like I feel like it just makes the turnover even worse.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Or like not even giving like sick days.
Not giving sick days when you work with kids who get sick.
It's crazy.
You're hyper focused on apparel. Why do I need to dress businessy and I'm on the floor?
Bending down with a child.
Literally.
I didn't
Put your best slacks on.
I bet that
and run around.
ripped my dress slacks that I was gonna wear off for Sunday at church because you want me to look like a lawyer to work with a 3-year-old.
And it doesn't make any sense. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't make any sense. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't get it either. So, what do y'all think about like since we are kind of like on the topic of it trickling down? What would you say like the impact is specifically on the client?
Oof.
I will say this. If you have I don't want to say a good BCBA, but an active and a caring BCBA, 9 times out of 10, it hopefully does not affect them, right?
Yeah, I agree.
So, for instance, a lot of times, because at the end of the day, parents make the final decision,
For
really.
sure.
So talking to your families and be like, hey, I'm very good at, hey, disclaimer,
Yeah.
this is what company says,
Yeah.
this is what me as a professional says, and letting them know, because I had parents like, oh, what's going to happen, like, if we don't meet your hours? Girl,
Nothing.
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 Ain't a damn thing.
like,
Nothing.
they might hound you a little bit, but
Right.
nothing. You're still
Yeah.
going to get services.
Right.
Like,
They're not gonna discontinue because they still want that money to come in. So
exactly.
it's just like, yeah.
So I think from that perspective, if the BCBA is actively involved in caring, that kid should not be affected.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree because I've had a kiddo where he qualifies to have a reduction in hours, but the company wants a buffer, and I'm like, well, if we have a titration plan and this is my clinical recommendation, but your policy is saying that they still need to be here for this time to account for the AMN and da 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 da, LMNOPs and all these other damn letters. What's the point of me coming in and saying like, oh my gosh, having these proud, happy, meeting these milestones with the families, if you're still gonna just kind of go back and say like, oh well, yeah, this is true, but we still need this kid here. It just doesn't make any sense to me. What about actually? So what do you guys think about like any like ethical codes or ethical situations that pop up that might be slightly altered that are quietly like, being stretched in situations like this?
Definitely providing, what do they call it? Socially, like not socially appropriate, but like, yes, thank you, socially significant.
Oh yeah.
Is it really significant for this kid to be here 40 hours?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Like, if it really is, like, okay,
Okay, right.
cool.
Yeah.
But if it's not, then it's just not.
Right.
And like the thing is like about like some companies, it's like they're like, oh, like recommend what you want to recommend. You recommend. They're like, no, you need to recommend 40 hours. And then it's like, oh, well, this kid doesn't really need to be here 40 hours. And they're like, oh, well, you need to find a way to make them be here 40 hours. And I'm like, if you don't want to go with the clinical recommendation from the clinical person, be okay with sending that kid onto somewhere that is going to be able to provide the best services for them.
Because I'm the parent, hey, and it can no longer serve your kid.
And they can't.
Yeah.
They can't. They'll be the first to say, like, yes, I work for this company, but And however,
Mm-hmm.
I do not align with all the practices that they're putting out. So yeah.
That part.
I think that's what exhausts me. Is like there is no perfect company out there,
For sure.
and it sucks. And it like you want to do what's best for the kid, but at the same time, like
Yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
like you gotta find like your pros and cons
And stick with it, I guess. Yeah.
yeah. And for that's the I feel like that's the most unfortunate part is like you
Yeah.
have to just be with the company and unless you want to do your own thing, because then that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother can of worms. For sure. But touching off of the exhaustion that you talked about, what about like the burnout for parents? Like, do you feel like families experience burnouts working with like the bigger companies and having to adhere to like these policies and stuff?
Definitely. I done had a couple people, parents saying, I will pull my child.
Yeah.
Like,
Me too.
hey, you gotta do what's best for you and your child.
Mhm.
But a lot of it stems from lack of communication. And some of it, parents don't understand sometimes that we are a big turnaround or turnover field.
Mhm.
So we are cycling through RBTs a lot
Yeah.
more. And yes, kids do need consistency.
Absolutely.
However, sometimes out of our own control,
Yeah.
they not gonna get that consistency as much as we would like to give it to them.
Mhm.
So I think it's also kind of that balance with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you. Okay, so since we're on the topic, talking about turnover, why would you guys say like turnover is a thing that involves the clinical side and not just HR?
Frustration.
Frustration.
Frustration with policies.
Yeah.
I know for me, I quit my last place because I was like, now y'all just lying. And now y'all lying to me. That's why I draw the line.
Yeah, I feel
And I don't even think it was necessarily a intentional lie.
you. Mhm.
It was, it's too many hands in a pot.
Yeah.
The hands aren't communicating.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're giving me an answer that ain't really the truth.
Mhm. I feel you.
So I think a lot of it is that, because I think a lot of times people stay for the money.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
you're frustrated, but okay,
The money's good, so
I still got to make a living.
Yeah.
Like, I think a lot of people finally quit when it starts to personally affect what they accept in their boundaries.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. And then I would also add that it also becomes a clinical issue when it interferes with the sessions that
Yeah.
I'm trying to have my RBTs run because it's always a, well, they said this or da 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 da, whatever. Like, I know, like, I had a team meeting one time and I like to open the floor up. I don't know why I do this. I do know why I do this, but it's like, oh shit, why did I do this? Open the floor for everyone to just ask questions. Um, get it off your chest. Go ahead and say it. And they let it out. They aired it out. Not towards me, but it was more like, operation side of things. Like, why is this? And another thing. And I'm like, well, y'all, I want to talk about our kids too. And nope. It's like, da 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 da. Like, just, it's like, yeah. It's like, it's felt. Really felt.
Yeah. I agree. So with all of that, it seems like it's just been negative, negative, negative. You know, we're human. We understand both sides. So what are some green flags or some things that are good between or shows that this relationship between higher ups for the company and the actual day-to-day workers are going to be good?
I would say like taking the time to actually listen to like our thoughts and like our concerns, but then also like doing something about it.
Yeah.
Because I've been in companies where they're like, oh, like tell me tell me what's wrong, and then you like tell them and nothing happens, and then
Yeah.
you're like, tell me what's wrong, and nothing happens, and it's just a constant cycle of like shit hitting the fan. Tell me what's wrong, nothing's happening. So I would say definitely like listening to me and then doing something about it,
Yeah.
or telling me the why if something can't happen.
Right.
Well, this is what I tried to do, but we couldn't do it because of this.
Yeah. I feel like that why component goes far, and I think it's oftentimes like missed just because people are thinking like, oh well, I'm the boss, I don't have to explain. But it's like maybe you do feel like you don't have to explain, and maybe you don't have to explain, but it is still a nice, little cherry on top too. Just be like, hey, transparency. Like I may not tell you in depth why this policy rolled out, but I can give you some of the, um, you know, I guess the bullet points of like, well, we did this because we're noticing this right here, and we think that this is going to make this right here better, so on and so forth. So that on top of going back to what you said too, Katie, like just putting some action in behind it, like
Yeah.
just talking about it, do something about it.
I would also say a green flag to me is also not being in your office all the time.
Yeah.
If you're in the center, you're out there on the floor. You may not be able to do much, but okay, come,
Right.
like say hi, say good morning. Hey, do you need a break? I can watch this kid for a couple of seconds. Like you need to run to the bathroom. And I will say, my previous company, although I despise my OM, but I despise her as a person,
not as
a business or a job. She was really good at doing that. Like she would walk around, she would try to talk to the kids, try to talk to the techs and things like that. She wasn't just always in her office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is good. But
what?
That was her. That was a character trait, not a. That is funny.
But yeah, so y'all know I do not like that name.
Yeah, oh, trust me, we know the chat.
But yeah, but I think that was definitely. That's always good because then you can see, okay, what we're really doing. Even if she sees a kid in behavior, hey, you want me to go get the BCBA for you, or something like that.
Yeah,
you
just
know,
offering support. That's always good.
So yeah, I think that's definitely a green flag.
One green flag I also would think is good would be like just trying to like boost morale, like actively trying to boost morale, and like just trying, at least trying to do
Stop
something.
trying these pizza parties.
Maybe not a pizza party.
That's getting on my nerves.
But if you could do like a coffee truck, or or like even like okay, I had a OM, little quirky, but good intention. I would like to say try to. But send out a little survey. We love a little survey to just see like on what everyone's preferences is versus like just asking us as a part of leadership. Do you think everybody will like this? Like, well, you ask them. They're grown. They can make those decisions. So like just trying to see what they would like.
I agree. So from all of those things we just said, what do you think one thing owners could do tomorrow to close the gap?
Open their ears.
Yeah, I was gonna say listen.
I agree. I would just say active listening. Some people just listen and be like, all right, I want to show, okay, here I am, but you're not actually listening.
Right.
And we will be able to tell if you're actually listening because we will see at least some attempt of change or a further look into what we're saying. So yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And I think a big thing, when it comes to like hearing this, sometimes like it can seem like we're like targeting company owners or, but we don't want you to feel defensive. We want you to pause and like, actively think about like how you run your company and how you can be there and do better, not only for the clinicians, but for the techs, for the patients, for the parents. For just all around, how can you just pause and like really think like how you can do better for them, and then just know when to like ask and like know when to listen, and know when to like take a step back because you may not always have all the answers, you may not always have all the expertise,
right?
And when it comes to the field of ABA, however you got into the field, however you built your company, going back to, the beginning and like remembering, the why and remembering that it's okay to ask those who are actually doing the day to day.
Right.
Okay, the BCBA is growing. How can we do better as a company? How can we do better to support you guys? Because I feel like, that's really important.
Yeah, I agree. And then, okay, so since we are trying to be on like a little lighter note, what would y'all say is the most unhinged policy y'all have heard of or you've seen?
Um,
I would say this may not seem as unhinged, but working day to day is literally now I got a couple.
A couple of them. Uh-oh.
The sick policy.
I was
The
thinking
sick
about
policy
that.
is
Yeah.
very unhinged.
Yeah.
And dang, I lost it. Go ahead.
I was gonna say the sick policy, expecting clinicians, especially those who work with kids, to either come in when they're sick or B, use their personal time off, their PTO that they need for vacation. If somebody just naturally gets sick a lot, they can't like use their time off to like just debrief and like de-stress. They have to use all of their time off for when they're sick. And like another huge one for me, biggest pet peeve, is how are you going to be a company that works with majority women and children and not offer paid maternity leave?
Yeah, that's crazy. I know people that work in like phone companies and they have paternity leave, and the woman can't even. Yeah, that's crazy. I would say one, definitely the sick policy. So like no sick days for the technicians, or like even flipping it to like what qualifies as a child getting sent home when they're not feeling well, because all kids don't have a fever.
That's what I freaking fever. Like, dude, a fever is not the end all be all. Like, if you know your kid, you see this kid every damn day. If they're looking off, okay, send their ass home. They are sick. They don't feel good.
Or waiting for them to have three times to throw up or 3 times to shit themselves. Like, who? That is miserable.
That's one too many we gotta clean up.
Thank you. Like, get them out of here. Get them up out of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think also we work in such our basis is reinforcing it.
Yeah.
And behavior patterns. When it comes to us working, reinforcement goes. We're learning your behavior patterns, but you're not learning our behavior patterns.
Not.
So it's just like, come on now, do better.
Please do better.
Do better. And I'm not saying reinforce me with a car. Please. I'm not saying that.
I mean, if you want. Because I told, I said I needed a private jet to stay at my last company, so I didn't get it though.
As much as I drive, go ahead and give me a company car.
I need something, or a gas card, something.
But like a simple little extra, little couple dollars on the paycheck,
right? Like
reinforcement.
And by couple, we don't mean 5.
I know you really like Dr. Pepper. Here's some Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, something.
Yeah,
something.
I don't know.
Yeah. Do y'all have any buzzwords that make you guys sigh?
Amen.
Amen. Oh.
Okay, guys.
That's gonna make me knock all this shit over. Actually,
we're here for the family.
No,
we
not.
want to
dollar sign,
take
dollar
into
sign.
consideration. Those are my buzzwords.
Yeah.
Because like I know why I'm here.
Yeah.
However, you're saying that.
But your actions show something different.
Hello.
Not matching up.
Hello.
Yeah. I think Katie said my buzzword. Amen. Don't talk to me about no damn amen. Please don't. Because if the kid got to be off, they got to be off. Okay. Another one.
I will say.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, about amen. I will say, disclaimer, there are some, and there's always going to be, back and forth, but I will say there are some kids I just be missing the miss because their parents don't want to bring.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Totally different.
I had a kid that was like 30%, and I was like, damn, I just know one day they're going to be like, they got to go, because, but they were still there. They still are there.
Hey.
But yeah.
Y'all know my story with that kid. That kid is still there.
Still there.
Still there.
But
Still doing what they want to do.
I think it goes back to what we previously said. Like, if this is what the policy is, follow up behind it too. So.
Yes.
But yeah, but still, keeping it light and fun. If owners had to run sessions for 1 week, what would change?
Everything.
There would be a company.
Everything.
There would not be a company.
Baby, they be crying.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I feel like it depends on the company
Yeah.
too. I feel like some companies will just be like, well, I ain't gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, oh, this is what you do with? Cool, but not my problem.
Yeah.
And then I feel like some companies would make those changes to maybe give more support and more understanding as to what we're going through.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's kind of hard to say.
Yeah, I agree. But that just made me think about a green flag, which is a little backtrack, but it's quick. When owners or like just people that are more on the operation side of things, they want to learn like the lingo.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, like I want to do it, or they know that a kid is working on a goal and they're trying to assist with that at the capacity that they're able to. That's something that I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
But okay, my last thing is, what is something or one thing that you guys feel like the field needs right now? And I'll answer it once.
That's such an inquisitive
I
question.
feel like we need a wider range of support as far as like training, learning new skills, just overall understanding.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't understand. Some people don't want to understand, but it's hard. Like, I love what I do, but it is hard.
Yeah. And it's like you kind of end up having to be like your own reinforcement because the companies don't provide it to you. I mean, they provide you a paycheck, but sometimes
our reinforcement is seeing our kids grow and learn new things.
Oh,
however, sometimes that can take a while.
It can. Yeah. It can. Little Johnny only mastered out of 2 goals, and I broke 30. I don't know. So that's a little discouraging instead of,
that part.
Encouraging.
We're talking about the numbers all the time.
Right.
Hey, we haven't met this and blah, blah. Baby, that's discouraging.
Yeah, because I don't want to hear it. Yep. Punishment.
Yeah.
So you said we are a cent base. This is not a cent.
No, thank you.
No, thank you. I'm done.
Yeah. But those are my thoughts on that. Well, I think from this episode we have learned a lot.
Yeah.
Given a lot of opinions. This field is a big turnover, big quick burnout field. And with that, we deserve leaders who are present, leaders and companies who actually take the time out to hear and care for their employees and their kids, or their employees just as much as the kids.
Right.
And just as much as the numbers and the KPIs and the AMPs.
All the things.
So, yeah, if you had some feelings about this episode, like it, subscribe, hit us in those comments, share with a friend. Well, thanks for watching Shenanigans. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Baby, don't fight it, embrace it. De la cabeza a los pies, el ritmo te mueve otra vez. Suena el tambor, así es mejor. Deja esa timidez. Don't fight it, just do it. You like me 'cause